Monday, June 29th, the countdown, 127. 127 days into the most important election of our lives. It's that simple. This is it. This is a fight between Trumpism and the best of America. We're going to win if we come out. It's that simple. So what happened over the weekend? Sadly, we've seen a bigger spike in coronavirus case. In fact, it's now up over 70% in the last 14 days in confirmed cases. You have states like Texas and Florida, two red states, closing down bars that had been open before. We have other states like New Jersey today pausing the next step of reopening. And what is Donald Trump doing to address all of this? Well, he's in a campaign mode. He's got calling polls fake and calling voter fraud real and doubling and tripling down on white supremacy. We saw it Sunday. There's not even any subtlety with Donald Trump. He's not playing games. He doesn't have to. He literally shared, not just retweeted, but shared a video praising supporters for being great. And in that video, you heard one of his supporters screaming at someone who had called Trump a racist, yelling, white power, screaming white power. In the first 10 seconds of the video, it wasn't like 3 minutes in, it was in the first 10 seconds of the video. And there's Donald Trump sharing it. By the way, in case you don't know, the Anti-Defamation League says white power, which I think most people know, is it's a white supremacist slogan. It is commonly shouted at white supremacist rallies. So this is the quintessential white supremacist chant. And what does Donald Trump do? He shares it, and then when there's a massive pushback, does he apologize? No. He deletes it, and he has a spokesman going out there and say, he didn't hear the person chant white power. Didn't hear it. It's impossible. It's literally impossible. It's in the first 10 seconds. The guy screams white power right at the camera. This is the same Trump, of course, who during the 2016 campaign, when Jake Tapper asked him, he didn't know who David Duke was. This is the same Donald Trump who now says he doesn't think calling coronavirus Kung flu is racist. This is Trump. This is all he has. And the reality is he is following the 2016 playbook, which was divide Americans, use bigotry, use racism. At the time, it was disturbing. We called it out. But now, to hear him do the same thing, it is jarringly out of place because America has moved forward. Donald Trump has not just stayed the same, but he is moving backwards. We have in the streets for the last few weeks a national conversation on Black Lives Matter and systemic racism. What is Donald Trump talking about? He won't mention systemic racism. He didn't talk about Black Lives Matter. What he does talk about are making sure we preserve military bases named after Confederate leaders and defending the heritage, as he calls it, of Confederate statues. And now you've got Donald Trump tweeting out white power. Today he shared a video of a white couple, one holding an AR-15, the other holding a handgun, who were taunting Black Lives Matter protesters in St. Louis who were walking by their house, threatening them. A few days ago, Donald Trump shared a random video of a black man punching a white guy. It's not even subtle. And finally, Donald Trump talked about Black Lives Matter. But what did he say on Thursday? And Mike Pence followed up yesterday on the talk shows. He smeared Black Lives Matter. He is now saying he accused the leaders of being involved in treason, sedition, and insurrection. His exact words in tweets. So Donald Trump defends statues that have been built to people who actually led treason, sedition, and insurrection against the United States, and is slamming and calling for the death penalty, at least subtly, because the penalty for treason is the death penalty, for activists simply seeking to value black lives the same as white in our country. But this is where we are in 2020. And if you wonder why, it's really straightforward and simple. Donald Trump has nothing else to run on. He has nothing else to run on in 2020. Think about it. The economy is in shambles. We have the highest unemployment since the Great Depression. Today's statistics came out, 47% of Americans are jobless. 47%. And those numbers come from Trump's own Bureau of Labor Statistics. 47% of Americans are jobless. Some are permanent, out of work, and some have been in the massive layoffs we've seen. But 47%. Consumer confidence, got the new report a couple of days ago, it's dropped 12 points since the beginning of the year. We are officially, formally in a recession. You've got people laid off. Now you have companies, businesses that reopen are closing again. So people get laid off again. That's not working. Donald Trump's handling of COVID-19 has been an utter disaster. And that's based on polls. That's not just my opinion. Poll last week again showed 60% disapproval. And look at Donald Trump's big campaign promises. What was his number one promise? Do you remember it? He was going to build a wall and Mexico was going to pay for it. He's failed at the number one promise. First of all, Mexico's not paying for anything. We're paying for it. Second, the wall's not been built. He actually declared an emergency and took money from the Treasury over Democrats and Republican objection in Congress to essentially steal our money to build a partial wall, which is not even built. And look at the poll numbers. It matches this up perfectly. It's not me just yelling this out because I don't like Donald Trump. In fact, I hate the guy. Today, Rasmussen poll, that's Trump's favorite poll, Rasmussen, because it oversamples Republicans. He loves them. Just before this whole COVID-19 pandemic, Donald Trump had about a 50-51% approval rating in that poll. He loved it. He tweeted all the time. Where is he now? He is down today to a 42% approval rating and 55% disapproval. In fact, using the average of 538.com, and this is the average of all the polls, Donald Trump right now has a 40% approval rating and a 56% disapproval. 56%. He literally, right now, Donald Trump has the highest disapproval of any president this many days into office, of any modern day president, including Jimmy Carter and George Herbert Walker Bush, who both lost re-election. That's where Trump is. He's got nothing. The only thing he's got to run on is smearing Joe Biden with lies, which he'll do, but it's hard for him to get traction, as they're finding out right now, because Joe Biden is a household name. People like him, they don't like him. But here's the reality. They tend not to hate Joe Biden. And that makes it harder to demonize him. He's a known commodity. He doesn't elicit anger. He's not, with Donald Trump, he had Hillary Clinton, who I loved Hillary, but he used her as a source that got his base really angry. Well, Biden doesn't do that for his base. He might not like some of his policies, but it's not the same thing. And of course, he's not Obama because Biden's white. So the same anger element's not there for the Trump base. Trump's got nothing. So this is going to be the ugliest election we've ever seen. We're going to talk about that and more on the show, but I really hope you join the conversation. You're welcome to the show again, 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Sirius XM channel 127 Progress. If you don't subscribe to Sirius XM, go to the website. There's always free trials there. Check it out. Come out, listen to my show. Call into my show. We got a great show tonight. Malcolm Nance is joining us from MSNBC. Congresswoman Deb Haaland from New Mexico. Christina Greer is going to join us, Fordham professor, great. And our friend Rick Unger is back. So again, show is live, 6 to 9 p.m. Hope you'll tune in. Thanks for tuning in for